Hey everybody, what's up? Lex here, and I am sitting here on Skype with the CEO of Superstar Games and the people making Joe Montana Football 16, Mr. Damon Grow. Damon, thank you for joining us here.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. One of the big reasons I wanted to have this interview is I think that there's a lot of distrust with the community towards you in particular.
Sure.
Over what the reveal was during E3. And one of the first questions that I got from the community was something I think you've indirectly addressed, but I wanted to kind of directly address it here. Uh,
Sure.
did you and your team know about the infamous Operation Sports post?
We saw it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't think much of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's pretty much what everything kind of, you know, grew from,
Mm.
something out of The Last of Us. It just kind of spread like wildfire. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So this is our first time speaking, but from
Oh,
everything I've seen from you, you seem like a really ambitious dude.
oh,
uh,
okay, thanks.
uh, do you sometimes think that maybe you and your team, your eyes are too big for your stomachs in some aspects with everything you're wanting to put into this game?
Well, I guess what we try to do is just make the best product we can for as many people. There's a lot of things that the community's been asking for and what football games have been asking for. So not so much so. We definitely have a plan. We stuck to that plan, and if I guess if our eyes get too bigger than our stomach, we're trying to bite off a lot, right? There isn't much out there like us, I guess. But we're really trying to serve the community and trying to figure out, what kind of features they want the most and want the best, and see if we can deliver that. So I don't really think it's too much reaching. I think that things kind of got crazier than we definitely expected.
Yeah.
But and I think that just speaks to how much want there is out there.
For
And
sure.
that was probably everything is about timing. And wow, I mean, it really sort of grew and grew and grew into this sort of beast, and it was just totally unexpected. I mean, I don't think any of us really sort of understood what it actually became. And I think it sort of turned into things of like, for people, I think it turned into, man, we really need something else because we just haven't. And there's very few people that have actually attempted to bring something else. But we're a company that has, again, we're two parts. We're a gaming company, but we're also, a tech company. So we're driving a lot of innovations, and we had this plan to, I guess, hopefully change minds. And however the community took it and sort of ran with it, we weren't really sure. But we stuck to our plan. We knew we were going to announce at E3, and we decided to stick to that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you may be splitting audiences, making a simulation football game for mobile devices
Mm.
where usually the games that are quick to play or have, are lacking depth are the ones that
Yeah.
are mostly successful. How do you plan
So,
to give simulation guys that 1 to 2 hour home experience with the game and then also provide those good 5 to 10 minute, quick to play while we're running errands or out to eat or whatever it may be?
yeah.
How do you plan to service both?
Well, so I've been doing some recent interviews with the community, and so I think where we already started is what type of game. So we had like a philosophy when we actually first started, and this is 2015. The world has changed. There is a lot of ways that we could sort of serve gamers' needs. And what we started looking at was how do we build a football lifestyle, right? Because football gamers are they're sort of in their own thing. People that love football games, they love football, right?
Right.
So we sort of said, look, what if we created a product that could actually transcend someone's daily life, right? So like you're right, like wake up in the morning, I set my rosters, I set my league. Either I'm a commissioner of my league, in my franchise, I'm able to do that, so I can get my quick experience of managing things. But I can also sit down and I actually can play a full length game if I wanted to. So what we want to do is it was touch gamers, touch football gamers at every single point of their day. even to the nighttime. So, obviously they'll boot up whatever they love on their consoles. And then also for us, it's like, well, we have a way that you can play on your television as well, right? Through Apple TV or through Chromecast or through whatever. So, we took the approach that the future is coming. It's going to be a little, rough for some people, but we just hope that, we're given the chance to prove ourselves and to show, what that eventual end up, products can be like. And the thing is a lot of people haven't tried because it is extremely difficult. There is only one competitor right now, and we have to think of ways to bring new experiences and say, hey, look, these are what gamers are loving right now. So you're right. I mean, you see most games and you say, wow, like it has to be something that's like quick 30 seconds or 5 minutes of sort of gameplay. But that's actually not what it has to be. So we wanted to change the narrative. Obviously we'll never compete with what consoles can do, but we want to compete in a lot of ways where, wow, I didn't really expect that, right? It was an awesome experience that I've wanted that I can't get maybe in my my other game, and I can really love and immerse myself into this, even though it's on devices.
Right. I'm a big fan of hiding the negatives and accentuating the positives. And I actually like what this might do for when you think of, okay, Monday Night Football. We know the game is going to happen that night. There's only one game. I like how this kind of mirrors that because we talk about the game all day long. We hear about it on NFL Network, ESPN, whatever. With this, we can kind of set our rosters or train or do whatever, and then that night when we get home, sit down and play the game and have that full experience all throughout the day. So I think that's actually pretty smart. Myself.
Yeah, and when we talk to a lot of people, we've talked to, obviously I'm very lucky to meet a lot of people that are athletes as well, NFL players. And one of the things that when we start first signing in, would you play something like this? Would you do that? And like, absolutely. I'm always on the road now, more than ever. I want, sort of my game right now. I want to play it and I want it to be immersive. I want it to be cool. Football is already my life, and it'd be great if I can have that sort of accentuated through a product that I can play. We all have these devices. We all, the power of it is getting so much greater. And, I still want that experience. And right from the get-go, when we started investigating what type of product we made from a philosophical level, we decided this was the way the future was going. And if we can get these steps right, then the future is going to be big for us, because if we get this right, then we can bring it to the next device. We're going to move to PC. We're going to move to, who knows, right? So everything is still open. But we want to get these first steps right. And if we capture the right pillars of design that people really sort of love and embrace, again, our whole philosophy is to be a part of a football lifestyle, to be a part of your lifestyle, of your daily activities. And we can give you at any moment in the day. People are a lot busier these days, There's a lot more going on. Stuff's moving a lot faster. Social media moves news so much faster. Things happen. And we want to be able to communicate with people really quickly. And we could also iterate. I think I said in another podcast, I was like, hey, there's a lot of changes that you want. For instance, people wanted a customizable camera, right? And we can do that really quickly and get that out to the community, and they can try it and see if they really like it, fast. And we don't have to worry about, immediately putting it on the shelves, finding out if everyone agrees in a big committee, and all this stuff. It's like, hey, community is looking for this, right? There is no, sort of, corporate sort of red tape, right? We can quickly iterate, absolutely super fast, and we can get that out of the public and see if they like it, as fast as a speeding bullet, right? So, so I guess hopefully that's your question.
What do you have to say to people who say they doubt we'll ever see the first iteration of Montana 16 release? Like, they don't even think it's going to release on iOS. I mean, what do you have to say to people who kind of doubt that? Because, I mean, and you have to understand where it's coming from. We haven't had competition since Backbreaker.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I mean, it's a large jump to think that anything's going to be released.
I mean, it's very unfortunate that I think the crazy thing about the sports gaming genre is freedom is it's so hard. That's why there's no competition, because there's a lot of hoops you have to go over, right? There's a lot of man, I mean, there are, I mean, I know tons and tons of companies that want to get in, right? It's just really risky for a lot of people. And we decided, we knew this was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be a marathon. We knew this was going to be a 5-year plan, of just continually try to improve the product, continually try to get on as many devices as we can, continue to distribute the product, continue to speak to the gamers. And we're going to be, we knew there was going to be a lot of, people that are like, no way. But over time, we hope to change minds, I guess. So, it's okay. I think that whenever you attempt something really hard, people say, there'll always be the people out there that don't believe in it, but that's okay. I mean, I don't really take it personally. We don't take it personally. And we just continue to, drive in the direction that we're going. So, and we'll just let the results speak for themselves, I guess.
Okay. That's all you can do, really. So,
yeah.
If you guys do indeed go the free-to-play route, what are some of the ways that you have discussed maybe monetizing items in the game, or what's the business plan? I know you haven't come to it yet.
No.
What have you guys discussed though?
Well, the first thing we made sure of is that we don't want to what's called race to the bottom in game design. So I did a lot of games that were free to play, and this back then, it was crazy time, right? So there was a tried and true business model around it. Nowadays, gamers are very, very sophisticated. They want quality. They want, we call it race to the bottom, and it's just like using energy to pay, get you to pay for every single move, every single play, everything, and that's not what we're going to do. So we know for a fact that we're not going to use any of those type of mechanics. We haven't come up with if it's going to be, freely distributed with sort of a, pay-as-you-go model. If you like the game, please pay us. I'm more of a fan of that, right? If you love the quality of the game, we haven't decided, right, if we were going to sell, what type of in-game item stuff. I mean, we are a business. We do need to sustain ourselves like every great business needs to. Exactly. But we're not out there to nickel and dime and do race to the bottom game design and fit on the tried and true sort of, energy, stamina, all the rest of that, So, right. Really, what goes into monetization a lot is, especially in the early days, it was like, whatever your math is of your game, right? Like your leveling curves, and that kind of stuff. Like, that's where wherever those monetization cranks are, right? So your design and your actually math, the whole math of the game actually dictates where your monetization cranks go in. Mm-hmm. But that stuff we just decided to stay away from. We decided, look, we have like this this awesome system we put in place for characters and progression, but we don't want to monetize people and stop people from playing the game, right? Right. That's just silly. So yeah,
you guys kind of. Definitely steering away from one price up front, or is that also in the discussion?
Oh, it's also in the discussion. We haven't really decided yet. I harken back to that moment of like Infinity Blade, which was a paid game, but when you saw that game, you're like, wow, man, that looks really amazing, right? The chair guys got up on stage with Steve Jobs. That was like a big thing, and that was a very powerful moment, showing like, hey, this stuff can look amazing, it can play amazing. But that was also a pay game up front, right? So we haven't really decided yet which direction we're going to go, but we're also going to take a lot of feedback from the community. It's like, well, these are the type of things that I actually would enjoy paying for, but it's not going to be pay to win. You're not going to be able to buy your way into the top. You have to play competitively. It's going to be fair, and so I hope that answers your question. Yeah. We haven't decided, but.
Good.
That's our mentality. That's our philosophy, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. That's good to hear. I think that'll calm a lot of people's nerves.
Oh, yeah. No. This is going to be totally pro, man, like as much as possible, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about exploring the different avenues and your experiences with each platform, talking to different people? Was it a positive experience? Was it like they wouldn't hear you out? Like, kind of explain, because you said you talked to a lot of different people.
Oh, yeah. Especially after... Well, I mean, harken back to before, it's a lot of companies and a lot of startups, always try to pursue a product market fit. I mean, that's what you do as a company when you first start. So what was interesting about what happened to us was, we were just building and, doing our thing, and then all of a sudden the market was like, you must make this. Right, there is no other way. Like, you have to do it. And I've actually never been I've never been a part of a company or a part of any project where the market itself is just so ready, for something new.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, I mean, and that's why we were saying it was totally unpredicted, or we just didn't know this was going to happen. We had a sense that maybe, it was time for something new, but then what are those costs, right? What is it going to take to actually accomplish that? So, we first had this plan, and then when the big, explosion happened, I guess, we talked to everybody, right? And everyone talked to us. And, there are things that are, a lot of things have to do with timing. A lot of things have to do with, but we pursued every avenue, right? As soon as we saw it, we pursued everything. But in the end, we looked at it and said, look, we had a plan. We're an innovative company. We're going to try to push things. Let's stick to that plan. And the future can be very bright if we stick to our basics, build a really great product, and in a year's time or 2 years' time, who knows, right? It could be such a hit that it can turn it into something, what everyone wanted. So, there are some people who came to us like, hey, I want this experience. So, but that was like the biggest thing was as soon as all the action happened, that's why I basically can only talk on Twitter because it was just so much coming at us, 24/7, not just from the community, but from the outside as well. So, but yeah, so business is business, and you just have to, go forward, and you want to please as many people as possible. But I think that in any time that if you have to stick to a plan, if you have a design philosophy, you have a philosophy of your technology, you have a philosophy of the things you want to do as a business, and we really decided at the end that was where we needed to put our tent, right?
Yeah,
and then whatever the future will happen.
If it's your guys' vision, right? It's hard to go away from that and then say, okay, well, let's try to do somebody else's vision, and then you're not doing it right. And then you still upset them.
Yeah, no, I mean, no matter what, right? Like people are going to be upset no matter what. Right. So we just decided that look, if we want to get to where everyone wants us to be, we have to do good here. If we do great, right? If we still can get the support, we still do great. I mean, the future's there because there's nobody else that is really going to try, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. That's sort of the unfortunate. If we just wanted to make an RPG, right? Or we can just come up with anything, right? We can be like, oh, let's do a fantasy world, meets steampunk means this. Okay, let's put it together and name it and call it something cool and have these game mechanics and stuff. You have ultimate creative freedom. With football, in any sports game, you have one game type, right? And it's and then that market is what it is, and it's been there and it's been established. So the only way to sort of break into the establishment is to pursue a plan that's innovative, that's different. And then if that works, if that theme of that works, then in the end, you can be the winner. So
yeah. All right, let's talk about your partners, Unreal.
Yeah.
What did you demo to Unreal that, at least, what do you think that got their attention? Like, wow, okay, we got to be partners now.
Well, I think I'm just really lucky to be associated with them. I think that, we've all been fans of the stuff that they've done in the past. Their engine has always been the best. And what really kicked it over was what they're doing with Apple and with Metal was just extraordinary. When we took all of our, because our team comes from AAA that has, that's what our DNA is. That's where a lot of our guys come from. When we applied a lot of our stuff and we applied it with Metal, and it just performed I was like, wow, this looked, it just looks incredible. How can we, this, people are really going to see, some people are going to see wow, this is what you can accomplish with the technology today, just will blow your mind. And then we knew, and we tried to predict, what new platforms are coming out for iOS. Like for instance, their new chipsets, right? 4 billion transistors. I keep saying it, 14 nanometers. It's going to be extremely powerful in the next version. So you're going to see this huge uptick, and Metal just allowed us to, get really down to the metal of it, and we can just push the graphics, push everything technologically. So yeah, it was just incredible, and we're just very lucky to showcase to them and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I got this question a couple times, and I actually got it from someone you did an interview with.
Okay.
why not release for PC simultaneously? It seems like it would be the perfect game for Steam Early Access, Workshop, and you'd be hitting two different fan bases at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, well, our plan always was to, obviously we want to dominate on iOS, and then our plan was, well, when we get things right, why don't we just move on to PC? We are going to move on to PC, but so we have a plan, right? We wanted to focus the best experience possible for devices, and then we'll move on to the PC, and then open up for everyone to just go crazy on. So yeah, and there are things still moving for us, right? So it's, even after even after E3, there's a lot of moving parts to this,
Yeah.
and new partners may be coming online, new opportunities might be coming online, because again, it's still what everyone's been talking about, right? Like it's still sort of, there was a consternation, but then there was, like, wow, well, maybe because one of the good things is people are like, wow, it looks amazing, so shoot, who knows, right?
That fooled a lot of people. Fooled a lot of people. It looks so good. You have AAA designers on the team. When you go through and you try to put all the pieces together, as I did, you see, okay, well, there's no way this is a mobile game, and then it is, and it's like, I need a day or two to kind of just sit with this and be like, okay, now I'm past that, so let's get on with seeing what this game is.
Yeah. And then, but the other thing, one of the great things about Unreal is it allows us to go to PC, allows us, when we're ready, if we want to go to console. It's easy to go with it. And, honestly, we didn't want to use anyone else because, there's so much portability to it, right? And then how much parity, right? So, we're thinking about a couple things, I don't want to say anything, but we're thinking about allowing, we'll have the iOS version, and then we'll allow some things on the PC we might do early access for. We're not really sure yet, but we're getting closer to the decision where, people were, I guess someone, it was really funny. I didn't have a lot of signatures, but somebody started a, what are those things? The petition or whatever. It was cool. It had 90 signers or something. But we were like, wow, we just didn't expect this. So maybe we can push up releasing maybe the mod builder on PC early. We're looking at that. We're looking at, but we also wanted to get enough in the hands where it works on the PC, works well, and the community can start modding it themselves and build it. So we're looking at new ways of doing it. So maybe early access, but I kind of stay away from the, I kind of wanted to stay away from that a little bit because, everyone knows it's an early pre-alpha version. So I guess everyone kind of gives it a break. But at the same time, we didn't want to, just put everything into that because it'd have to be a concerted effort to get it up on the PC. So, right now we'll focus on the iOS. We'll get that done. We have great partners, and if we perfect that, then we'll put it on. We'll get it up on the PC.
And that makes sense to me, 100%. So, since this is a mobile game, did you explore the NFL and/or NFLPA license?
Yeah, we've we've talked to everybody. So we're still thinking about it. There's a lot of things that you can do. Right now it's ultimate freedom, right? So we allow players to create anything and everything, and we're kind of seeing it as like a playground, right? I want to see how awesome the community can make it, and we'll see, right? So we're still in discussions with everyone. So who knows what as a company, things can change overnight, right? Yeah. So you just never know. But
for the record, I know this isn't going to be popular with the community, but I am a fan of unlicensed because I think there is that creative freedom there to allow us to create, which is something that's been sorely missing. You look at all the other games that are really popular right now, and they give you the option to create your own worlds and customize and everything. Fallout 4 with their trailer, people went nuts when you can create your own settlement, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is now, and we don't have that with football games, and EA's not going to... I've asked, they're not motivated to do anything on that front, and maybe it's because of the NFL. I have no idea, but unlicensed... to me, to be able to create my own world, my own football world, and share that on Twitch or social media, that's the big draw for me right now.
Yeah. When you allow people to create, we really want to see what sort of emergent things come out of it, right? And that's really exciting. We're into this to see how far it can go and how what the community can build, right? Because, we're trying to give as many tools as possible, even on devices, and allowing people to, share their worlds, right?
Right.
I don't want to make another cliche thing, share your world, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, again, we want to see the emergent behavior. We think it's really exciting. I mean, who knows what you guys are going to come up with? It might be something that everyone's been looking for forever, and it just hit, right? Or it didn't, but that's okay.
Right, exactly. I mean, personally, I've already started like getting all my teams ready, like
Yeah,
doing research on cities and like, okay,
yeah.
the Huntsville Halos because they've got a space program and all this kind of stuff. I cannot wait to get into this sandbox of football. But
Yeah, sandbox of football. That's a good way of putting it. I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, that's where the most emergent things come up, and who knows what'll catch fire, right? So,
right, exactly.
yeah.
So, what would you consider a success on iOS to move to the next phase or to the next platforms?
Well, it's a combination of things. One is we want to look at our numbers, right? So whatever your KPIs are, right? Like your key point indicator. So for us, it's engagement, right? So I've always been a really big proponent is, how many times how much time does one person spend within the application? And then, do we fulfill the needs of the things that they've been looking for, right? So I'm very, very customer focused. We'll make everything possible to make sure that they are, engaged with the app. Did we accomplish what our philosophy was? Are we a part of someone's daily life? If we can accomplish that stuff, then it doesn't really matter what platform we're going to move on to next. We've won, right?
Okay.
We've been able to, the big thing is we've been able to become such a part of somebody's life that no matter where they're touched at, what part of the day they're in or what device they're on, we know we're going to succeed from there. So, yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Cool.
You said you're coming to PC. People want to know if that means Mac and Linux support as well.
So we're actually OS X now has Metal. It's pretty awesome. So definitely looking at the Mac, but I definitely want to do PC right now. But that really depends. But yeah, I mean, Metal on Mac is really awesome. You guys saw Fortnite, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yep.
Absolutely, it looks great. So that kind of brings me to a question. You talk about Metal. What kind of devices will you need to play this game? Will there be limitations on what device you need to play this?
Yeah. So 5S and up.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So whatever Metal can be used on, which I believe is 5S and up. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. We heard Todd Howard talk about basically stealing all the good ideas from mobile games that they loved to create Fallout Shelter, and that's become a huge hit. So, which
Awesome.
games? Yeah, I love playing it. Which games do you guys take inspiration from for Joe Montana football?
So obviously 2K5. They created, I mean, a really runaway hit. I think a lot of what's great about Fallout is there's so much nostalgia from all of us gamers, right? We're like, yes, it's perfect, and then it's even, I think they made a lot of right moves where, even the art style is, is the Pip-Boy, right, guy.
Oh, yeah.
So just everything just like works, right? So, and there was a lot of, hype driven up from Fallout. It's finally coming out and all that kind of stuff. And man, that first day when I saw that it like beat Candy Crush, it was like, wow, that's awesome. So gamers like us, we will play these games. We will engage with them. So one of the, obviously what we wanted to do was, bring that simulated experience to devices. So, where we're starting from is, the great games like 2K5, 2K8, especially, and, we're taking, there's not really, unfortunately on mobile right now and on devices right now, football is just, it just is, right?
Right.
So there isn't too much of it. But there is a lot of games that we take inspiration from like control mechanics. I'm a really big fan of a game called Implosion. Download it if you can. It's like $10 or something. And I love their control schemes. But so yeah, we take inspirations from a lot of games, but again, we're trying to bring that simulated experience to to your devices. So a lot of it comes to what you think it is. I mean, again, it'll never be to the point of consoles, but it definitely is going to be hopefully to blow your socks off, right? Of like what's possible. So
Yeah. So all this talk and not a whole lot of talk about the man himself, Joe Montana. How involved is Joe, and how frequently do you speak with him? How does he share ideas? Does he critique ideas? What's his involvement with the game?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to him all the time. So yeah, for sure. No, he's definitely dialed in, right? So we, I mean, it's everything from like, hey, these plays are this way, these plays are this way, this is what I'd like to see. This is how it feels to be on the field. This is what gamers should feel like. So I mean, he's very involved. He's becoming a tech guy over the past year, and he's doing really well for himself. I talk to him like all the time, not every single day, but every other day, I guess. I give him updates, figure out how stuff's going. And he really believes in innovation. When we started building this out, and he started seeing what was possible with Unreal. I mean, he was all on board. So.
Yeah, I think it's so awesome that an NFL legend has this interest in video games, and
yeah,
not only video games, but bringing a video game to a very hungry crowd right now, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah. No, definitely. I wish. Yeah, that was like it was the other thing about Joe is, he had a game in the past, right? So there is this sort of nostalgia factor that people remember him, and they remember, he competed with all the other games at the time, and all those commercials. I mean, it's part of our childhood. I tell people all the time, it's like when when's your litmus test of success? It's like, well, I remember when my dad was playing Joe Montana football with me one Christmas, right? And and he taught me about who Joe was and everything like that. And then now, what's great, I get feedback now where like people I know, it's like, oh, my 8-year-old son has heard about the game and can't wait to play it, and I can't wait to show him and teach him who Joe is, right? Because I remember that. So one of the big indicators for me, like one of the big things for me, I'm always looking for that one sort of special moment. That one special moment is just like how my father showed me Joe Montana football on the Sega. Now someone's going to download on their devices, their iPad or what have you, and say, hey, this is Joe. This is my childhood hero, right? And then that transfer is just that special moment I'm looking for. Where that, I mean, it may sound emotional and sort of fruity and stuff, but that's what I truly believe in. I think that sort of transfer will happen with us, and if we can sort of honor that, I think no matter what, we'll be successful.
Right. I mean, I grew up, I live in Northern California. Joe is a god here. Every Thanksgiving, my grandpa, we'd be watching the football game. My grandpa would be, well, that guy, he's not as good as Joe was, or he is the standard here. Even when Steve Young had a lot of success, Steve couldn't live up to Joe. But I mean, I have a 5-year-old son, and he's not really interested in football, and that's fine. I don't want to push him into it or anything like that. But when I'm playing it on a console, he just doesn't seem to care. But he loves mobile devices. He loves tablets. He loves phones. And I think that he'd be willing to give it a chance if he saw it running on a tablet and be like, oh, what is that? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because, that's just the way kids are going through. That's what they're going through these days. But I think that's a pretty cool idea. And I think
kids
emotional. So
Kids today, they're born with iPhones in their hands, right? Like they show little babies that even know how to move stuff on an iPad, right? Like you have to understand, it's like if you're building a product for the next generation, they're born with a smartphone in their hand. And they instinctively know how to use it. All their media's through that. They chat with their friends. They watch their movies. They do everything, all the activities on
schoolwork.
On the phone.
Even my son,
schoolwork.
He's in kindergarten. They were using iPads. So,
no, I mean, and I know it for us. It must seem like when when the Atari, our parents saw the Atari and that was the big thing, and then the new Nintendo came out and like, why do you want to jump around as some Mario guy? Like, I don't get it. Like, where's the Space Invaders? Where's this? Where's that? What's this? What's this PlayStation thing? Like, what is this? What is this 3D graphics? And I think it's just a sort of a generational thing. And we definitely wanted to build for the new generation, and sort of go in that direction and try to pay as much homage as we can to the former generation. But yeah, I mean, just wait. I mean, your son's 5, my son's 11. Like, it's everything. It's just like everything is through their devices. Their whole life is wrapped around it. And unfortunately, that's when you're born this way and when, coming up this way, you'll see like the impact for them is going to be pretty big. So again, we're building a product that hopefully lasts, right? We're building we're bringing Joe back, but we want to build something that lasts for a very, very, very long time. Right. And when you build a new franchise from the ground up, I mean, who do you design it for, right? Do you design it for, something that takes you 3 to 4 years, attacking some huge entrenched competitor, or do you allow people to have the freedom and give people the tools, and then allow people to, people that maybe are not used to it or maybe not or the new generation, they'll be able to play it, they'll be able to understand it, they'll be able to interact with it, and then as they grow up, right? So again, we just took we had to take a step back from all the craziness and just the whole stuff. And we had to say, look, we know we're trying to be a visionary company. We have a plan. We have to build for a new generation, also pay homage to the past generation, and then just build toward that. And if we can accomplish that, then who knows where we'll go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically with all these past questions, the main thing is you guys are in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Which is nothing but good news for us as the simulation community, because we need somebody in there not only to compete with Madden, to challenge them, but we need somebody in there who's willing to just sink their teeth into this and go at it. So I'm glad that you guys aren't just making some quick product with microtransactions, slapping Joe's name on it and putting it out there. That's not it at all. So.
No, definitely. I mean, it's trying to build something for the long haul. And we really said to ourselves, we're like, if it's not now, then when? And if it's not us, then who? Mm-hmm. Right? So we always say that. If it's not us, then who? Who's going to do it? Someone who really, really cares about football, cares about football gamers, cares about what the future is going to hold if there's literally no other person trying. Like it's become more of a cause now than just like, okay, well, let's try to make a successful company, blah 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 blah. It's just like if we don't go out there and try, then no one else will, right?
Yeah. It's going to be another 5-10 years.
5-10 years. Yeah, 5-10 years. I mean, and that's like, okay, we could sit here and say, yeah, well, hey guys, we'll take 5 more years and, we'll try to, put all the ducks in a row and hopefully things fall the correct way. Or we can do this extremely quickly. We can get this out there. We can start building a community behind it. We can start building support behind it. And then the future is nothing but bright, because then we have a cause, we have a product that needs to be other places, it needs to grow. And I honestly think that products should build this way. I think they should build with the community. I think that, again, I've said before, the world is different. The world has changed. Social media has changed everything. Twitter's changed everything, right? You can immediately tell somebody how you feel, no matter if it's horrible or not. You can immediately tell them how you feel,
right,
and about your product, right? And large companies make massive mistakes, and so do small companies. But really, I think that there has to be this level of sort of understanding between two opposing forces or two ideals, two ideologies, and then I think that they can sort of meet in the middle and make something better for everyone. Because it's just we keep saying to ourselves, if it's not us, then who? If it's not if, then when, right? Like, if it's not now, then when? So we always say that to ourselves, and we just decided, look, we had a plan, we're sticking to it, and everyone else, no matter what people say, and we do well, then the future is for everyone. So.
Well, right on. Let's get to some really, really fun stuff now. Let's talk about the game. You have been playing it, running it, what have you. Can you tell us like some cool moments that you guys have seen playing the game, or that make you pop when you're all sitting around like, oh my God, like I can't believe that happened?
So right now we're really focusing on multiplayer. Mm-hmm. So where you're all sitting around, you're connected with each other. So I think some of the special moments is, do we sort of capture that, when we were kids and we went over to our friend's house and we played games together, right? Or when we played Tecmo Bowl, or we played Joe Montana football, or we played Madden old days, right? Yeah. So we've sort of been able to, we're really focused on sort of those moments. And I think we've had a couple of those moments where we're like, wow, one is, holy cow, this looks amazing. And then the other one is like, wow, I sort of got that feeling with my friends that I didn't think I would have. So what we're focused on now is the networking side of it, because we want you to be able to play multiplayer through LTE. So that's like a really big one. So we're just focused on that now. And I think the big wow moments for us was like, if I'm sitting next to my friend, at his house, I can, get on my pad, get on my device, and then I can share that sort of experience, and I get that same feeling I did in the past.
Right on. All right, so here's a question from one of the community members.
Sure.
What's the deal with DHelmeting, Damon? I want to collect some heads on defense, and Madden's too scared to give me the real life experience.
Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, DHelmeting would be really cool. Well, again, this is one of these things, we can build into it, because the models are built very modularly, so helmets can come flying off, things like that.
Right.
If we see it's really fun and it's, I think that what's really interesting is we're very cognizant of current NFL things, right? So but it also, since we have the freedom, we're able to do different stuff, right? So I mean, that would be a cool idea. Like, we haven't put it in yet, sorry, but we'll definitely take a look at it. Yeah.
Cool. How are players rated? Numbers, traits, combination. Are there player tendencies such as clutch, fumble, blown assignments, things like that?
Oh, I can't share that yet.
Okay.
You guys will see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We don't want to get into our numbers yet, but.
Okay. Are there any innovations in, well, I guess this is more ratings posts, but like progression within franchise mode? Will players be able to progress and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Will there be specialty players, long snappers that aren't your left tackle, special teams, focus guys, things like that? Or is it just going to be the typical Madden player slots?
So right now it's the typical slots, but we know that people want specialized. So I started to feel that in like in-depth franchise modes that we've been really playing, and it's like some people are very specialized. So we're playing with the idea of making specialized characters. We don't know how many people are going to focus on that. We know the sim community will like really focus on their long snapper, but that guy has to be the best long snapper. So here's one of the things that we want to do with the community. It's like, do you guys care about specializations, right? Like, are you okay with seeing a guy in your 53-man roster that is a specialized X, right? And we're like, yes, absolutely. And so yeah, sure. I mean, right now, using your fastest guy to do kick returns, like that's great. But yes, so it's not in right now, but we definitely know it's on the table. We want to look at specializations.
Yeah, because that's a tough one, because you really have to have expanded rosters if you want to do long snappers and stuff like that. You need to be able to have that extra quarterback on the practice squad or whatever to bring in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you ask him if the movement speed of players during game will be fast or slow in comparison to Madden now?
I like the speed of 2K, 2K5. I like the speed of 2K5. That we've been playing with that a lot. There's just something about it. I don't know. It's a really strange thing, right? Like there's just something the way it feels. I mean, that game is just incredible. And I met a lot of guys that were on the 2K team. Man, dude, those guys really kicked ass. Like it was funny because when I've talked to them and it's just like they wanted to be the best. Like it was just I can't believe how awesome that whole team was. Like. They just they wanted to fight and they wanted to go into it with the best. I was pretty amazed. They set out a plan to just be feature to feature, everything they want to accomplish, and they actually accomplished it. So with the speed question, yeah, I actually like the speed of 2K5. We've been playing that a lot, right? Because it's a little bit different. Yeah, I guess you'd say. And actually, and the funny thing is, it actually plays better on devices for some reason. Because if it's too slow, then it's, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't feel like action's kind of going fast enough. I don't know, it's hard to explain a little bit. But so one of the things I'm really, 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 really on is, so it's all about the timing of things. So for instance, an old story about Diablo 2. So at Blizzard, which is really cool, they have these these sort of special operations teams. At least they're called SWAT teams. And what they do is when something is wrong with a product, they send their SWAT team in and sort of improve it. And they halt the product until it's perfect. And I think one of the best things, stories I've ever heard with that, my friends at Blizzard, what happened was there was something literally wrong with the movement and the timing of the mouse. And there was just something off. Like no one really understood what it was, but they knew it wasn't perfect. Right. And so they held production for like weeks trying to figure out what it was. And literally what it was the hand in Diablo 2, the mouse movement, it was a half a second too slow. and they finally figured it out. And so one of the biggest things is it's sort of an imperceptible a feeling you get when you're moving around. And I'm a really big proponent of timing. So I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to it. So it just really stuck with me over the years where, just a mouse movement or just a finger movement or just a movement in itself can feel off and you're not really sure why. So I hope that's a roundabout way of answering it, that, we're super focused on that timing piece of it. Yeah. And we want to get that right? So, right. I mean, it just feels natural. It flows natural. Sometimes, that's why, you can speed up just a little bit and it just feels more natural, even though you're wanting to play the simulation game, it just feels a little bit better.
Right.
So.
It's got to be hard to strike a balance between, action, like you said, and being able to digest what's going on.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah, and then you have to work within your confinements, right? Like I actually love the confinement. So when you're giving a confinement, you should do your best job. And then within those confinements, like for instance, when I did Facebook games, of course, I wasn't a huge fan, right? I was like, oh man, I have to do these things wherever. But the one thing that I tried to do was my first game, Yakuza Lords, I was the first game with a story. And it looked cool, right? Like it was like GTA, Rockstar Games, like GTA looking with Japanese mafia. It was really cool, created this whole story and everything. And actually Facebook was super appreciative because we were the first ones to actually attempt to put quality in. And then I made the first war game on Facebook. It was called Band of Heroes. And that was another one, right? Like we tried to bring a little more quality. It was the other game with a story and it was the first war game. So yeah, when you're given constraints, it's actually really liberating because you really test yourself as a designer, you test yourself as a product manager, and you test yourself as an entrepreneur. How do you capture that great moments that you want and give pretty much the majority of people what they've been looking for in that experience?
Yeah. So. Definitely fires up the critical thinking.
Oh yeah, like constraints are awesome. That really tells you how good you are. And then so you got to work with certain screen sizes, right? You got to work with certain things, and then you have to make that action flow extremely well.
Right, exactly. I really appreciate visual concepts. I mean, they're incredible. Even though the team is different, from what it was back then. I did a video of the legacy of NFL 2K5, and all the research that I did on them, just banging it out. And the thing is, 2K5 wasn't made overnight. 2K3 was a great game. 2K4 was a great game.
Yeah.
And then and people say, well, 2K5 had a halftime show. Well, so did 2K4.
Yep.
People don't talk about that, but it's the fact that they had all the human element there. Okay, this is the competitor to Madden. It's coming out cheaper. Oh no, now this is the last game. So this is the game that everybody talks about. But they did such a great job even leading up to that, and they didn't really get the credit because Madden was, the top dog.
Yeah, no, and they did. You're right. I mean, they did the same approach, right? Like it took them many years to sort of get it right? They did. Yeah. But they committed to their plan. They committed to being a competitor. They committed to doing great, and they accomplished that. It's just outside forces that are out of all of our control.
Yeah.
It just happened, and the only thing you can do is try to, just try to compete, right? I mean, that's all we can ask of the companies that we support, and that's all we ask of people that we're human too, and we just want to compete, and I think that in whatever happens, we'll do our best job to compete, and I think that if they just take the long-term view like they did with 2K, it just that'll work, right? So, and they stuck to their plan and they did it. So
exactly. So Playcalling. Kind of give us an idea how that's going to be. Someone wants to know if you can actually kind of call the play for the linebackers, and then call the different coverage for the secondary, kind of like a dynamic play calling, or is it going to be like Madden?
Okay, good question. So there's a couple things we're playing with now. So we definitely want line play to be a really important part of it. So we started looking at so it really came down to our control schemes, right? So what's really interesting is right now we have it to where you can slide your finger over to where you want your line play to go, right? And where you want your D to go. Okay. So those interactions are really awesome. So yes, we want people to have control of their line play and where we want their other defense guys to go. So yes, I mean that's all I can share right now. But so we want to do the translation between if you have your thumbs out, right, and then where you choose your play at. So we're playing with a couple designs now. One is so instead of just this big thing coming up in front of you and you have all these play selections, you sort of hotkeys your plays that you usually use. And then you have your suggestion plays, and then you actually scroll through them on your left thumb. And then if you want to set your line play, we didn't want you to move your hands away, but so we're trying to perfect a way to where you can sort of okay, I'm on my screen, so imagine on your iPad, okay, and I set my plays on my right, and then okay, boom, it's in there, and then okay, so I'm gonna do cover 2 or whatever, and then okay, boom, and then I could move my guide to where I actually want to go and edit it from actually the play itself. So it's kind of interesting. So I know a lot of people want to control. So I think we'll start with the line play and see how that works out, and then we can maybe move out more later. But we didn't want to make your hand leave from the position they're in.
Right.
So I'm still trying to play with that. I'm not sure how we're gonna make it that possible, because right now you just put your finger over where you want the guy to go, and it'll just remember and then just go after it.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah. So but again, we just didn't want people to, it's kind of annoying. User design and user flow and user experience is extremely important to us. So we didn't want people to be like, okay, I'm ready to set play, right? And I'm ready to press hike. And then wait a minute, I got to push my finger over a bunch of places.
Right, yeah, exactly.
That's kind of annoying. So we're trying to find a good way to strike that balance between that. So yes, customization of line play. And that's where we're going to start. And then hopefully we can move into the bigger stuff that people want.
Okay, cool. Will passing be along the route of 2K, or will it be tied to wide receiver where you can alter routes like Madden? How's passing going to work?
So again, going back into, I don't want to share too much on it, but
right.
Going back into what we were talking about the plays, I don't want your hand to sort of your two positions. So we've taken a look at a lot of things, right? So so you mean am I able to set my hot routes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can set your hot routes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Give us a feel for how your presentation will be handled within the game. Will you have announcers, or is it more like an on-the-field experience?
Well, it's more of an on-the-field experience because, so first off is, I know if you guys noticed from when we showed off from Unreal, we blurred out a ton of the stands. Mm-hmm. So that was on purpose. We had to call that out, right? A lot.
Right.
So fans are very intensive. And I know you probably saw from some of their, our fans are active and they cheer and they do all that stuff. So what we do is we sort of took what 2K5 did on presentation. So you'll see your fans, you'll sort of see them and interact with them. They'll be like, hey, yeah, but we'll do more of those close-up shots. So, we did have to make some cuts, right? So, if you're running down the field, you won't see 1,000 fans, cheering your name, right? We sort of had to blur that stuff out. That's pretty intense. But so what we did is we made a lot of cuts, and then we tried to make it so you're more sort of immersed in the system. When you zoom into the fans, let's say we'll do the 50-yard line and your guys are cheering, they got your because remember, I know we shared before our creation system, our fan creation system. So, you can, your fans will have, if it's raining or whatever, have their parka, but they'll have your logo on it.
That's awesome.
Hats and
That's
things like
awesome.
that. So
That's
we just
awesome.
want to enhance those moments. We want to enhance those moments, but sort of off the field, right? So most of it's just going to be on the field. And then that presentation will hopefully be able to sort of offset it a little bit by just saying, hey, here's your fans, right? So,
right, exactly.
So again,
it sounds like you're taking cuts, but it also sounds like we won't really notice.
Yeah, you won't really notice, yeah hopefully.
So. You and I talked in the SFL Twitch chat a while back, and I was pretty hard on you about getting the user interface right, because we were talking about 2K5, and one thing I really didn't like was their user interface. And you told me that you were a stickler for UI. So I was just wondering, how's that looking?
So we're going with a very minimalistic look. So I know how, you see other football games, the big thing at the front. We're going with a very minimalistic look, right? Like things are, sharper lines. We're trying to be more make it more intuitive, I guess.
Right.
So, it's going to be new looking. How can I say that right? Have you seen the stuff for the Division?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, okay, so the Division's a new game. So it's very minimalist. So if you look at that, that's kind of the direction we're going. Where it's a very minimalized sort of UI set, but it's also very intuitive, right? So we're not going to have these big blocks that say, "Here's your score," bam, 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 everywhere, and you're like, "Okay, this is really no." We wanted to even on devices, we wanted to enhance the experience that you're actually there, and so we wanted to make it a very sort of minimalistic. There isn't any really thick lines everywhere. It's very minimal. It's very clean. It's very cool, and it's very new edgy. I was going to say. It's not really a word, but it's it's cool looking, I guess, and it's very minimalistic, but it's definitely different. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I say a lot that if the Madden team would just take a day and just watch NFL Network, they'd get a lot of ideas on how to bring the human element of football into their games. Because when you watch NFL Network, and Joe's been on there a lot lately, you'll see these things, and Joe was a guy who maybe for the first 3 quarters he would play, back and forth, but then that fourth quarter would kick in, and then it'd be like boom, and then you add on, exactly, and then you'd add on top of that like the Notre Dame game where he just was deathly ill, yet he still went out there and did it. These are the things that are missing in our football games today. I feel like our football games are really cold just because they don't have that human element in there. So what are you guys doing to kind of put that human element in with everything else?
So I'm glad you said that. So I think I said about it in another interview, but so our story mode that I guess I talked about in the SFL, our story mode is definitely unique. We wanted to merge up franchise mode, story mode, and superstar mode all together. And so we believe we've came up a way to do that. It's going to be quite new, but it's almost exactly what you're talking about. It's bringing the human element into your story, right? It's your story, right? It's my story or whatever. But it's definitely very, very, very unique. I think it was one of the things that excited us so much. I can't share it now. I really want to, but I guess it's maybe our secret sauce. I guess, but we're really excited about it, and those human elements. I'm like for me, like one of the big things. I'm a huge fan of the new Duracell commercials, the one with Patrick Willis and Derek Coleman. Have you ever seen those?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. Those. So it's like who we were when we were before, what we want to be now, and then like where we're going. And those, man, we're really excited about this. I think it's one of the biggest things that our team is most excited about. But yeah, to answer your question, we want to bring as much as the human element as you can into it, and that pull that into your story.
That's awesome. Can you share like any like vague examples of what kind of choices we'll have to make in this mode?
That's a good question. So it is going to be about choice, but it's going. I can't share.
So it's going to be it's going to be dynamic though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's cool. If it works, we hope it works, and I hope it becomes a standard. If it doesn't, then hey, we try to do something cool. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have a few more story mode questions because I really want to know. Yeah. If you can't answer it, just say you can't answer it, and we'll move on. What's the end goal for story mode? Is it like to be a Hall of Famer? Is it to just what is the end goal? What are we reaching for in this?
You define that.
Okay, that makes sense. Will we be able to continue on with a new player after we hypothetically retire or whatever in this mode? Or is it going to be like a continuation? Can we keep that whole thing going? I know you said everything's going to be intertwined, so I would imagine continuity is a big thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And we hope you can, pick up another one and pick up another one and pick up another one, right? So
cool.
You can play out all these lines, yeah.
Cool. Will there be a franchise mode, which I already know the answer to, but if there is, will you be able to act as a commissioner of that league, seeing over all the teams without a rooting interest, or will you be forced to just control one team? And will it be, I think we already talked about this, how is it going to be intertwined with everything? Like, are we not going to have separate menus to go into? Is it all going to be just one big menu? How's that going to work too?
Okay, good. Yeah, no. So yes, So we're really big into leagues, right? So we want people to. You can be the commissioner. You know, one of your friends can be the commissioner. You can set up their own leagues, and you can play out those leagues.
Okay.
And yeah, so I won't get too much into it, but so so you have like owner's mode, coach's mode, and then your own franchise mode, right? So like as the player, as the coach, as the so we have all those modes in. So we're trying to merge them in as much as possible. So it isn't like one big menu and you're just having to cut through and go, well, I got to manage my league, I got to manage my team, I got to manage my thing. So we're trying to bring them in as close as possible. But yes, we wanted people to have be commissioner. We wanted them to manage their own leagues and do all that stuff. I think that's really exciting. I think that's what a lot of people will interact with a lot.
And if I may, because this is the way I play, and I think it's kind of catching on as well. 32 team or however many team control, allowing us to control every single team and every aspect of those teams.
Yeah.
It's a meta game, but to me that's very important. It's like playing chess against myself because I don't have a favorite team, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's hard for me to play with one team, and it gets to the point where okay, I found the exploit and now I can win the Super Bowl every year. But doing this allows me to go, okay, well I can make every team as good as I possibly can, and then just see what happens, see what plays out. Like the SFL for example.
Yeah, no, fantastic example. Yeah.
So how does customization work in franchise mode? Will we be able to create every team in our league ourselves?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give us some details on Create a Stadium?
No, I can't.
Okay. All right. I saw that there's a lot of detail on the helmets in the trailer you guys showed. How much detail will we be able to mess around with creating our teams, like different patterns, materials, shiny versus matte colors, custom designs? Can you give us some examples of what exactly we'll be handling in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all of that. And we actually are trying to design a new technology where if you take a photo from, like if you have some cool photo you want, some cool logo you want, you can take a photo from your device and then edit that and then put that as your helmet.
That's cool.
We actually had fun in the office. We actually took pictures of everybody and then put them on our helmets. It's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
our screaming engineer, right, against me,
And I'm assuming like we'll be able to like save pictures off of our phone and upload them, or do we have to like take the picture ourselves?
No, you can save them. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have an upload. Yeah.
Okay.
Just please, I hope because we're gonna spend a lot of time editing stuff. Because what was my favorite ever thing was I think that what was it? Remember when the golf game came out and
Golf Club?
And people could take photos of themselves and put it as their face. Everyone took a picture of their butts.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Put it as their face. So we just hope that people are nice with us and they don't. We're gonna have to do a lot of editing, obviously.
Right.
So we're looking at approval processes now. That like if you put it up there, it's on your phone, but you can't share it anyway. It's going to be interesting, right? Like people when they get ultimate power, right? They're gonna make some funny stuff. So we're trying to figure out a way we're going to be able to manage it. But right now the technology allows you to do that.
I don't know if you're familiar with the WWE games.
Oh, I mean a little bit, yeah. But
they basically 2K took over, and they had a pretty good creation suite, and then they brought it to PS4 and Xbox One and PC, and they had to eliminate a lot of stuff. But one of the things they did bring in was the ability to upload from the computer onto their servers logos or whatever you want, and do it to the cloud or whatever. And you bring it down on your console, you can save it, and it's there forever. And that really keeps the game super fresh. But of course, they have to police all of this stuff.
We're trying to figure out a way
content.
Man, we're trying to figure out a way to be able to manage that. It's it's gonna be bad. But right now we just said, hey, let's just go as far as we can.
Right.
And let people do what they want. So we'll get to that. We'll do that when we're doing all the testing with you guys for sure.
Okay, cool. Can you tell us about the tool that you're giving us to create things? I mean, Backbreaker had a pretty good tool. I liked it a lot. I love being able to block out stuff to make logos and stuff like that. But obviously there could have been more to it. What is your tool like, and is it going to be easy for us to use, or is it going to be a little bit of a learning curve?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. We're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. There might be a slight learning curve to get really, really good, like master level. but
It's
yeah,
not going to be like pixel by pixel stuff, is it?
no,
Okay.
no,
I
no,
know a
definitely.
few. I know a few like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's not gonna be that crazy. But yeah, so we'll give as much control as we can, but it can't be totally, crazy asinine to where like, yeah, but pixel by pixel, it'd be just nuts. Although it'd be
Right.
awesome. But
Okay.
yeah.
So what are we able to control in our league as far as playoff format, divisions, season length, salary cap, stuff like that? Is that going to be all something we'll be able to touch, or is that maybe something for down the line?
No, no, we want you to be able to, like, when you set up your own league and your own franchise, like, we want you to have as much control as possible, right? So, the contracts, yes, exactly, like how the links to the playoffs go, what the actual year bowl is, everything else. So we're trying to give as much customization there as possible. So yeah, I guess I was to answer your question.
Yeah, right
There'll
on.
probably be stuff we want to put in later that we didn't foresee. But
Okay.
yeah.
How do you guys plan on handling like breakout stars? Is there going to be something in there that's going to make a player on the bench dynamic to when they get their chance, they're going to come in and tear it up, or is that something you guys haven't figured out yet?
We haven't figured out that yet.
Okay. How are names and faces generated in this game?
Well, every one of your players is customizable. So we'll give you a base, base lineman, base everything, and you can play it as that, or you can customize that character. So
Okay. I know you guys can't use real college logos and stuff like that, but are you going to have the names of real life colleges in the game for bios for players?
well, we would like to either, like Florida, has. I mean, it really depends if it's okay with the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd love to, but right now it's just like the state you're from right now.
Okay. Let's see. How can you tell us how coaching staffs work? Is it going to be one coach or is it going to be multiple coaches?
Right now, it's just one coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
You spoke in another interview about player cards. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Oh, player cards. What did I say about that? I'm trying to remember.
I think you either said they are going to be in or they aren't going to be in. I couldn't remember. I think
Oh,
maybe you
no.
were speaking to like maybe buying player cards and stuff like that. That
Oh.
maybe it wasn't going to be in.
No, no, no. So I mean, obviously now, like, the CCG card stuff is all the rage, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to elaborate on it, but man, if I definitely said something before, let me know about it. But no, yeah, that's all I can say on it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. If you want to sign a player, can you put them through like series of drills, like the 40 and stuff like that? Have them work out with your team before you'd be able to sign them. Is that something you guys would be open to?
Yeah, we'll be open to that. That's not in right now though, but we'll definitely be open to that. Yeah.
Sure.
It'd be great to have a combine in too. That'd be
Oh
cool.
yes, that's a
Yeah.
must. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of visually scouting your players. I hate numbers. I hate attributes with numbers because it breaks it down to more of a science than it has to be.
Yeah.
Football is something you see, and you see if a player has it or not. You see if it's going to fit with your team or not. So,
Yeah, that's really cool. All right.
tattoos and dreads or long hair in the game.
Yeah. Right now, yes, they're in the game. Yes, tattoos.
Okay.
I don't know. Was it in the trailer? Because I think we showed
I
it
didn't
off.
see any tattoos in the trailer.
I think the wide receiver has one. Yeah, we have tattoos on him.
Okay, I'll go back and check that out.
Yeah.
So, how much do body types differentiate? We saw in the trailer, the little footage that was shown at least, the body types kind of look very similar, and everybody looked muscular. How are they going to differentiate come the final release?
Well, pretty heavily. Lineman versus. It depends really what you want to run to. Like, are you going with your big defensive backs? Are you going small? Yeah, you'll definitely be able to tell the difference for sure. And then that has a lot to do with your momentum, right?
Yeah.
So you probably roll into that question, but yeah.
And speaking of the trailer, I just want to ask, like, how many teams do you have created so far? Is it just those two teams, and you're gonna create the rest later?
Yeah, we really didn't care about trying to do as many variants because the
Right.
system allows to do pretty much infinite variants. So
Oh,
we
wow.
just decided to focus. I mean, not infinite, but I mean a lot.
A lot,
So
yeah.
So but yeah, so we did the SF Knights and the Kansas City Krakens, and we just went with it.
Those are pretty cool teams, by the way.
Thanks.
I really dig those.
Thanks.
So, does franchise is that going to have like a weekly prep feature like we saw on 2K5?
We hope to have that. Yes, we don't have it now, but we hope to have it.
Okay. What about pertinent stat overlays in franchise mode? Stuff that's telling you about career records and stuff like that.
From the actual. Oh yeah, we haven't got that out yet either. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, we're just
This is
building
still
it.
early,
Yeah, it's
very
still
early.
early. Yeah, no, it can definitely be put in. Yeah.
Okay. So this was a huge question that was asked a bunch of times.
Sure.
And is there an NFL 2K5-esque halftime show in the game?
Not at the present. Sorry.
Okay.
But we are definitely trying to bring that sort of showing, the showmanship stuff into the game. So we
Right.
don't have a halftime show now. We're just trying to get customizations, the plays, everything working. But yeah, halftime would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expects you to have Chris Berman up there. So.
Yeah, we might have someone cool. I'm not
Cool.
sure. We're definitely talking to a lot of people, but
Cool. Will there be a draft?
yes, there'll be a draft. Yeah.
Okay, and how do you think scouting might work in that?
So we're not sure. So we just got the process of the draft process in. So we're not sure how we're going to do scouting yet. We may do the combine stuff. We're not really sure how it's gonna flesh out yet.
Okay, great. How deep will stat tracking go? Will you, over the years, kind of do career stats? Will you do this person won the trophy in this year, and we'll be able to go back and look at that? Will it go really deep?
Yeah. So that actually has a lot to apply with our story mode too.
Cool.
So yeah. You'll see. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and just a couple more questions for you. Will there be a limit on the number of seasons one can play in their league?
No, I don't believe there's a limit. I don't
That's
believe there's a limit
awesome.
at all.
That's such great news. I got to
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
30 seasons is just not enough.
Yeah.
Do you plan on focusing on sharing box score, stats, stories, and other things to social media outlets like Twitter and Facebook?
Yes, I love Snap Stories. I know it's so silly, but I love Snap Stories so much. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we have pretty much, your franchise itself and your players itself will have their own sort of semi-social media presence, right? So,
That's awesome.
when they're getting drafted, things like that. Yeah, that sort of immersion is really, really cool. I mean, we live in this time, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna experiment with a lot of things with social media for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything you said today sounds awesome. I mean, the vision that you guys have going forward is something we definitely haven't had in football yet. Of course, there's a barrier to break down when you're talking about console guys moving over to mobile and PC even.
Yeah.
It's something they have to kind of do on their own, and it's
Yeah.
very tough.
I thought it was hard to convince people to go to PC, but
Yeah, exactly.
like forget about it. But that's okay. I mean, it's okay.
Well, the good thing about mobile is this. I mean, like you said, everybody has these devices these days. And it could take just a moment to be like, oh, okay, I'll download it and see what it's like. And as long as it's good, you've got them.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's look, I mean, we're bringing a new experience, and if people love it, and that's all we can do, and yeah, I mean, we can just serve their football needs in other ways for right now, and if they're cool with that, I'm cool with it. But yeah, no, I mean, we love them, right? I mean, they're the people that we're trying to serve, and we can understand the consternation, but in the angst a little bit. But look, I mean, we're in this for the long haul. So the future could be very bright. I mean, there'll never stop being consoles. There's never going to stop being PCs, and there's never going to be stop. A billion smartphone devices in the world, right? So,
Right, exactly.
like,
and they're only going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, they're only going to get better. So, and we're going to be there in every way possible, trying to serve the football gamers' needs. We just really hope we can do a great job at it. And if not, they'll let us know.
Yes, they will.
Okay,
Yes, they
it's
will.
quite unexpected. But again, we don't take anything personally. I don't take anything personally.
Yeah.
And I just hope that people, I guess, give us a shot. And if we do well, then congratulate us. If not, then we're good with that too. So.
All right. So to round this interview out, tell us about the alpha experience, what we can expect, and just all that, because it's a very unorthodox method that you're doing this in. So
Yeah.
kind of explain to us a little more maybe about what exactly we can expect with the alpha.
Yeah, so the early pre-alpha builds, we're gonna start letting people in this fall. We want to try to find the people who are gonna be able to really put us to the grindstone, right? Like, this sucks. Like, we want people to be like, you have to improve it here, you have to improve it here, because the people that are interested now, the people that are, emailing us, talking to us, interacting with us. Those are the people we want. And we don't just want, to say, hey, you're part of this program. Like, it's just like, you were the person that helped us achieve everything we wanted to achieve. So the access we're going to give them, we're going to let them play through it. We're going to let them, of course, under your NDA. I can't really share it, but we want people to really put us down. We want people to really be rough on us, and they will. And we're excited about that challenge, because it's like, we wanted to see this is what you can deliver. So the experience is, when we really identify the top people, then we'll be able to start letting them in and really talking to them every single day, figuring out what sucks and what doesn't, and where we can make improvements. So the experience is, whoever is going to be in the pre-alpha phases with us are basically going to help build us, help build the product. Because we can only see things and only build from the team that we have, but you guys have way more knowledge, and this is your life, right? This is, you live and breathe it.
Absolutely.
So the experience itself is just like, hey, play this, and we hope you like it. We're coming out anyway, right? That isn't it. We are going to make sure that it's good. And if it isn't good, we're going to take as much time as possible to make sure it's great. And if it's not great, then it's just not coming out. Like, we just need to make sure it's great. And those will be the most important phases: the pre-alpha phase, the alpha phase, and then heading to the beta phase in early 2016. And that'll be where all of our hard work as a community, and just saying, like, look, this is how fans, and this is how fans of football can build a fantastic product. And we gave, we're not just going to throw parties and say, hey, thanks for helping us build it. Right? Like, it's going to be way more intense. And again, I really believe in the walls breaking down between developer. If you're not, I mean, this is our job, but this is also our life, right? And so yeah, hopefully that answers that.
Well, awesome, Damon. I certainly wish you guys luck.
Thank you.
I think your vision is awesome.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you taking this time out, because I know you're a busy dude.
Yeah.
And I think the community will really appreciate it too. So
yeah, no problem.
You enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully we'll talk again come the fall. I wanted to get down there to San Francisco, but I wasn't going to make it to the fall. Maybe we can talk in person next time. And just kind of have a talk about how the alpha is going in general. So,
yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Donovan. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
Thanks,
Damon. Have a good night. Okay,
You too.
Bye.